Yo, what's up guys? You got pokeaim here with a video on Pokemon Sword and Shield discussing the UBERS tier in Pokemon Sword and Shield. Now, if you don't want any potential spoilers for what Pokemon will and won't be coming back to UBERS, as well as what the UBERS tier may very well look like, I'm not going to be showing any new Pokemon in this besides the ones that we have revealed, by the way, these two, Zamazenta and Zacian, alright? But I will be talking about the Pokemon from Ultra Sun and Moon and below that will not be coming back, and then also giving my thoughts on what I believe the UBERS tier will look like. So, if that's not something you want to watch, feel free to click off the video right now. Otherwise, let's proceed. So obviously, you guys know that there are National Dex cuts in Pokemon Sword and Shield. That's no surprise. That's what they told us a long time ago. So, the two main UBERS are obviously going to be Zamazenta and Zacian. We don't know enough about them officially that I want to talk about it, but let me show you guys who's made it through into the Galar region. You might be surprised. That's it. This is the only Uber that has made it through into the Galar region. Aegislash. And I think it's crazy that Aegislash is still in the game. So I'll just show you guys the UBERS tier real quick. And for those that don't know what UBERS is, basically it's a tier with the legendaries that are deemed too powerful to play in standard play. So obviously Aegislash does not fit that. It's not a legendary, but I'll talk about that in a sec. But we lost Arceus, we've lost Blaziken and Mega Blaziken, Darkrai, the Deoxys, Dialga, Genesect. Mega Gengar doesn't exist because Megas are not in there, which is the same thing with Mega Blaziken, though, yeah. Groudon and Primal Groudon don't exist. Giratina forms. Ho-Oh, Mega Kangaskhan doesn't exist because it's a Mega. Same thing with Mega Lucario, same thing with Mega Metagross. Even if those base forms are in the game, same thing with Mega Salamence. Because there are no Megas, they don't exist. So Aegislash is currently the only one to come back from Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon. And this is interesting because Aegislash, I think, I want to describe it as the perfect Pokemon. And hear me out before you like, oh my god, what are you talking about? I think Aegislash is the perfect Pokemon. I think it's one of the best Pokemon in the sense that it can always deal with its counters, right? I don't think it has any true counters, right? It has Pokemon that can check it, and a check is something that can come in safely and maybe deal with Aegislash. But Aegislash throughout the generations has shown that, at one point when it was revealed in 6th Gen, Mandibuzz was like a check to Aegislash, and what did Aegislash start running? Sub-Toxic King Shield, Shadow Ball. And between Sub and Toxic and getting the King Shield off and everything, it was able to wear down Mandibuzz. Like, this is one set that was ran. This is also a set that was ran in UBERS. It obviously can abuse Swords Dance variants, and in VGC you would see things with like Weakness Policy or Never Ending Nightmare. In old UBERS in Ultra Sun and Moon, you would see Spadef sets with Gyro Ball, Toxic, King Shield, and then sometimes Shadow Sneak if you want to pick off like a weakened Mega Gengar, but Shadow Ball is a little bit better. And that would be the set in UBERS because it helps it deal with Spadef Necrozma, Dust Main, as well as the big one, which is Xerneas, but also Toxic plus King Shield was really nasty. Not only wearing you down by going for a Protect, but obviously King Shield's ability, it lowers your attack by 2. And in OU, back in the day, it just promoted too many 50-50s that were deemed uncompetitive, so it ended up getting the boot and yeah, going to UBERS. So does that mean that Aegislash is going to be UBERS in Sword and Shield? Now, this Pokemon will be allowed in the OU tier in Pokemon Sword and Shield. Is it going to stay? Honestly, I feel like it doesn't matter what's still around. I think Aegislash just gets better, right? A lot of Aegislash answers are not around anymore, right? Heatran's not around anymore. Gliscor's not around anymore, right? Going into Pokemon Sword and Shield. And those are just checks, right? They're not counters because Aegislash could run like a Life Orb HPI set to deal with Gliscor upon switching, or an Air Balloon SD set to deal with the like Swords Dance Facade Earthquake variants with Roost, right? Sacred Sword does a ton to Heatran upon switching. So there's a good chance that Aegislash is still going to be up in the UBERS tier after a little bit of testing when it comes down to, when it comes down to OU in Pokemon Sword and Shield. However, what does this mean for UBERS as a whole? Are there only going to be 2 UBERS with Zamazenta and Zacian, and then maybe Aegislash? Of course, we do know, and this hasn't been officially revealed, but we do know that there is you know, another legendary, which there typically are in the games. We even saw in the trailer when they revealed Zamazenta and Zacian that like the wind was blowing and they looked up, seeing that they were fighting something, right? And of course, who knows how well or how good the Pokemon in the actual generation are going to be. But I think it's going to look a lot like Gen 1 and Gen 2 Ubers, and I'll show you guys real quick. But the RBY Ubers, or Gen 1 Ubers, obviously only had 2 Pokemon that were deemed Uber. And that is Mewtwo, which was like one of the only legends back then, and Mew. Obviously, of course, there's Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres, but those weren't necessarily deemed broken. However, the way the viability worked back then was really interesting because, or this is a more updated one, but they have the OP rank and like the OP plus rank. So basically Mewtwo was there because of the fast boosting, special attack, and physical wall. And if you guys didn't know, Amnesia was like a super calm mine back then because special was 1 stat. So this mon could just Amnesia boost and beat everything. Best Mewtwo and Slowbro check, can 2-hit kill a lot of threats after Amnesia boost. Exactly. And then you had Mew, a physical sweeper, mixed wall, paralysis spreader, transformer, and boomer. Same thing. And then after that, those are the only 2 legendaries that were there. But then you see the S rank, and you have Chansey, Slowbro, Snorlax, and Zapdos. And those are Pokemon, specifically Chansey and Snorlax, that were always seen in OU as well. So I think that we're going to have a very, very, very similar type of Ubers tier going on, where it's not going to be the majority of the Pokemon having, you know, ridiculous BST, but more so the mons that can still work, can still fit, will work up there. And if we actually look at Gen 2 Ubers as well, it's really interesting because Snorlax is deemed more broken than Mew and Mewtwo. And I mean, Snorlax is the undisputed king of GSC, right? If you guys know anything about advanced, but Gold, Silver, Crystal, OU, Snorlax is basically on 100% of teams. It is worse for you to have. I'm talking about this mon is more over centralizing than Landorus T was in every OU since it's been out. And then Primal Groudon is in the Ubers tier. It is way worse to not have a Snorlax on your team in GSC than to you know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if your opponent has 6 fighting types. Having Snorlax on your team is almost always worth it. I mean, is always worth it, excuse me. So I'm assuming it's going to be something similar to this, where we'll obviously have the Aegislash, and again, I truly believe Aegislash will go up there. Zamazenta, Zacian, whatever the 3rd legendary is, and then there'll be some mixture of what is left in the tier. And I talked about what was left in OU, and a few Pokemon come to mind that can still work in Ubers as well, and that's Tyranitar. I think that Tyranitar will always have a place in the Ubers tier, and much like in very many other Ubers before that, and I'll actually show you the Gen 2 viability right here, but apparently Tyranitar is still higher ranked than most of the mons up here, but I find it interesting that Snorlax is like higher ranked than everything, like just Lugia in general. But Tyranitar is a Pokemon that will always find a way, whether it be a Choice Band, Crunch, and especially because this mon doesn't have to worry about the dark type that is a Veltal resisting its Crunch. Not that it had to worry about that, I just Stone Edged it. Regular Tyranitar always had a role anyway. One of the sets that was ran in Ubers was like a Chopple Berry set with Pursuit, Rock Tomb. Like this is one of the sets that was ran in Ubers. Rock Tomb, Toxic could be there, or Stealth Rock could be there, or Rest, right? And this will allow it to check a few Pokemon, a few notable Pokemon. Yveltal, Mega Gengar, and Ho-Oh are the few that come to mind as well. And I think that this would still be a very popular combo in the Ubers tier, but Tyranitar plus Excadrill. And again, this is all just speculation, and I want to know you guys' thoughts. I just love to talk about this stuff. You guys know, and you guys have been enjoying it, and I'm enjoying it myself. And there's a lot more I want to talk about, too, going into Sword and Shield. Obviously, we're going to have Wi-Fi battles and stuff, but I think Tyranitar, Excadrill, and Toxapex are going to be are the Pokemon that we'll see from OU. Again, I believe Aegislash will be banned, too, but who knows? Maybe they'll nerf King Shield in this next generation, because they always do little nerf things based on, like, VGC and stuff like that, but though Aegislash didn't really get its chance when Incineroar is like the big guy. I don't even know if Aegislash was in that deck. But yeah, Tyranitar, Excadrill, and Toxapex are all Pokemon that have, and I believe will continue to be ran in Ubers despite not being necessarily banned. Though, of course, with all the mons gone, like Landorus, Therian Form, and whatnot, who knows if Excadrill is even going to be allowed in the OU tier in itself. But yeah, Toxapex always providing a T-Spike role, and Excadrill plus Tyranitar just being this solid core of sand and abusing it. But in terms of did I find that list that I had as well? Yeah, I just think it's going to be a lot like the overall the overall like GSC type of feel, right? Where you might have the few legends that you have spilled in, but then you have like, look, like Steelix is higher ranked than Celebi and Ho-Oh. Like what? But I mean, like, it's not like what, like there's not even Stealth Rock in this generation, by the way, in Gen 2. That's why like it's like wow. But it's crazy. Anyway, of course, Explosion is incredibly powerful, and Snorlax can still self-destruct, and Steelix can explode. But I do think that this is how UBERS will be shaped in this. I do think that these 4 will be popular, at least in some variation of team. There's no... I wonder who's gonna... The thing I'm wondering most is who's gonna take out the ground immunity, right? Obviously, before you had, you know, plenty of flying types in the air. A Veltal, a Ho-Oh, Giratina could levitate, and that was an exceptional defogger as well in the tier. And that was also a nice little check to Excadrill too. And I just wonder how it's going to change, because we don't know the... I don't believe... We don't officially know the typings of these Pokemon. I'm not going to talk about them either. At least not now. When I do moveset videos breaking down once the official releases, I will. But I'm just interested to see, because I think that this will be the basically the closest to Gen 1 and Gen 2 Ubers that we've had in, you know, 6 generations, right? But yeah, let me know your thoughts. You guys can leave them down below. I'm pretty interested to get Aegislash back. I seriously am. I always loved that Pokemon, and I did deem it. I too believe that it was just too much, because it's a Pokemon that can just deal with its counters. But I also think that when that Mon was around in the tier, there was a whole lot of other broken Mons too running around, right? Like Pheromosa and things like that. So it was interesting to see how Aegislash will fare going forward, and especially with a lot of its offensive answers, offensive ground types going. I cannot see Aegislash not being banned. But let me know your thoughts. Again, stay tuned for Pokemon Sword and Shield Wi-Fi battles, moveset guides, showdown lives coming soon. And I'll see you guys next time. This UBERS tier about to be bare as hell, but that means there's a lot more room for... If there's a standard, right? If there's a standard of 6 Pokemon that are almost always ran, and they're not so overcentralized to the point where they're like Primal Groudon, where they literally cancel out water type attacks, right? And they invalidate certain Pokemon like Palkia and stuff. I think there's also a lot of room for creativity if there is just a standard 6, because you know it's being ran, and now you can look through whatever is left in the limited decks that we have and can try and deal with that. And I think that someone who actually proves that every single Sunday is Mr. Jambat on his UBERS Showdown Lives. If y'all haven't seen them, check out youtube.com/MrJambat. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, my friends.